With this next video, we are going to take this object and place it into another background. And I've already picked the background. It is this one. I figured what better place to put a sculpture than out front of the Tate Modern. So let's go back to the original, go up to Window. We're going to go to Arrange, and we're going to choose 2 up vertical. This way we'll have both images side by side for a moment. What I want to do is grab this layer, the one with our object on it, and I can also grab the base, the contact shadow, because we're going to have to recreate that later as well. Let's see, not that one. It would be this one. Okay, so this one and this one. And let's just drag it over. There it is. Let's close this up for now. Come up here and go back to Arrange, and we can consolidate all to tabs. There we are. Okay, well, right now my sculpture is way larger than the image I'm putting it into. So with both the shadow and the object selected, let's do a Command T to transform, and we're just going to shrink it. Remember to hold the Shift key to keep the proportions in check. So we're just going to do something like that, and I think it could go a little bit smaller. Let's see, make this bigger so we can actually see what we're doing. See, I think I want to hide that guy. Okay. Looking good so far. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, if you look at this image, the shadows are like barely there. So it's a really soft, light, cloudy day. So let's create a new layer, and that layer is going to be down below the object. So a new blank layer. And let's just play with that radial gradient. We still have the color picked from earlier, and we're just going to drag it out like so. And go to my move tool. But look at what happened here. So be careful when you're near the edge, you're not going to have a nice soft fill. So let's get rid of that. Well, let's totally get rid of that. Go back in our history even to the new layer, go back to layers. Let's do it more in the middle. I hit G on my keyboard for the gradient and drag that out like so. Okay, oops, I'm continuing to draw things out. Okay, Command Z, Command Z. Okay, that'll work. Command T to transform it. Transforming it means transforming that shadow. And we're just going to make this nice and small. Kind of looking at what's happening with those other shadows. And something like so. Back to my move tool, V on the keyboard, and I'm going to lower the opacity. Not looking too bad. Now, unfortunately, right now, the background image, if you look at it, is softer than the foreground image. So I'm going to take this object and I'm going to duplicate the layer and I'm going to blur it. I'm just going to give it a little bit of Gaussian blur just to kind of kill the crispness of it. So blur, Gaussian blur. And as you can see, that is way too much. So let's just pull it down. And we don't want it to be so much. So let's see, 1.2. Let's make it a little bit bigger. That seems still too much still. Let's take it down to 1. So I look around. Let's try 0.5. 0.7. Okay, I'm liking how that's looking. But I'm going to be a little tricky here in that the image below is still nice and crispy. Do you see something that's happening when I'm doing that, you guys? Notice this edge right here. It's because my mask is not going all the way to the edge. I'm getting funkiness, and it's partly because it was blurred earlier. So I'm just going to take care of that right now by going to the paint bucket and dropping black in there. I'll just grab my brush and just go with 100%, not 40%, and just take care of that so that I don't have any problems down the road. Okay. Okay, much better. Click back over here. Okay, so we've blurred it, but because I have this layer mask, that means that if I want, I can bring back some of the sharpness in the sculpture's face because I think it's important. So we're keeping a lot of the blur, but I'm just going to pop back in part of it. The joy of what we can do nowadays with Photoshop. I do the same thing up here. X on the keyboard to kind of pull a little bit of that off. Let's shrink it down a little bit. Now, if I think I did too much, which I think I may have, I'm just going to make my brush a little bit bigger. This time I'm going to take it down to 40% and I'm going to just click it a little bit with black. Remember that trick, if we hold the Option key, this is kind of what my mask is looking like right now. Pulling down those highlights a little bit. Okay. Off. On. So now we're doing a better job of blending those things together. And a minute ago, we did that unifying layer of a dodge and burn layer. Let's do that again. New, whoops, hold on. Got to hold the Option key while doing that. Choose soft light, fill with soft light, hit OK, filter, noise, add noise. Let's make it bigger so we can see what's going on. Do we still like 3? Or is 2 better? 3, let's see. Move it over here a little bit. 2. I think I'm liking 2 here. We'll hit OK. Hit Command minus. And it is done. So I've now dropped it into a location. I had to size it. I had to add the shadow. I had to unify it. So go and have some fun.